Tonight on Q Weekly, we interviewed Tim McKew about his final show this Thursday at the Kitten Club. We then talked to David Anthony Phoebe at a Chapel of Chapels screenplay reading of his script Disconnected, which stars Jay Bunyan. Up now is Q News.
Welcome to Q Weekly. I'm Michael King and this is Q News. The American Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU, has defended the rights of same-sex couples to attend school dances by sending a letter to a Wyoming high school that kicked out two girls from a homecoming dance because they attended it together. The ACLU has labelled the school's actions as illegal. I couldn't believe that our school was so threatened by the idea of two girls going to the homecoming dance together that they had police officers waiting for us, said Amanda Blair, a senior at the Big Piney High School. In Jupiter, Florida, a private Christian school says it had every right to expel a student for being gay because homosexuality is a sin that violates God's natural plan. Jeffrey Woodard, 18, was expelled by Jupiter Christian School after a teacher asked if he was gay and he answered yes. The US National Gay and Lesbian Task Force Policy Institute has published what it calls the first in-depth analysis of state and federal laws affecting GLBT youth in the United States, although it does have some relevance to our own GLBT youth here. According to the 180-page report, issues affecting lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender youth, violence and discrimination against GLBT youth is widespread. The report's author contends this leads directly to higher truancy rates, lower grades and higher suicide rates amongst GLBT youth. The Gay Games saga continues. Further to our report last week on the withdrawal of Montreal from the 2006 Gay Games, the finger pointing between the Federation of Gay Games and Montreal 2006 over who was responsible for the acrimonious split between the two has intensified. Each side has released lengthy press statements defending their positions and accusing the other of misrepresenting the facts. Montreal seems determined to go ahead with its own event, while a new host city is yet to be found for the official Gay Games. And finally, in a new development in the Vatican's anti-gay drive, parents who suspect their child who might be gay are being advised to seek therapy for themselves and their offspring. Father Harvey indicates the signs to look out for in boys are little boys who like to dress up as girls. If only it were that easy. Stay tuned to Bent TV and Q Weekly. Don't forget to help keep us on the air and subscribe. PO Box 6256 St Kilda Road, Central, Melbourne 8008, or your comments to benttv@bigpond.com.au. Immediately after this, I will be interviewing and you'll be seeing some showcase video of Tim McKew's cabaret combo. He's performing down in the Kitten Club later this week. Don't forget to stay tuned to Q Weekly.
So band. And I'm looking forward to the day when there are no categories for who we are, gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, etc. When there are no labels except Chanel! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love you.
Stay tuned to Q Weekly. I'm here with Tim McKew, who's got a show on down at the Kitten Club in Little Collins Street at the moment, cabaret show. Tell us about the show, but Tim.
Oh yes, we're down at the Kitten Club and we are doing our Lazarus show and featuring many of the songs from the Lazarus CD. And we're
talking show tunes? We're talking
No,
we're
not talking show tunes. No, we're talking social political satire, we're talking jazz, we're talking
for instance,
love songs.
Actually, I remember you did a Pauline Hanson song.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, we've resurrected. Oh,
You've
yes.
resurrected it with new tunes. Like, are we talking pre-prison?
Oh no, post-release.
Body search and all.
They should have thrown away the key, but you and Ettridge are now free. You're innocent to some, but not to me.
Now, this is the first time this show's been on? Or?
No, it was in the Midsummer Festival a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So we're doing some of the songs from the CD and also some new songs and some golden oldies.
And you say we?
Me and my jazz combo, Peter Durack on the keyboards and Ron Hansen on the double bass.
Oh, so just to repeat, that's this Thursday.
This Thursday,
Kitten Club,
9 p.m.
Little Collins Street.
Little Collins Street.
And there is a door charge.
There is a door charge, $10, but you get it back in love.
And the CD's available?
The CD is available. The CD is available at the show. Yes, and we've had some great response to the CD.
Oh,
and
great.
Yeah.
So don't forget, that's down to the Kitten Club in Little Collins Street this Thursday, 9 p.m. $10?
$10, 267 Little Collins Street,
and
Melbourne.
these days that's the price of a drink. So.
And I come out in my lycra tiger suit, boys and girls, which must not be missed.
You can go despite that. Okay, thank you. You're watching Q Weekly. Stay tuned for more Bed TV. Hi and welcome to Q Weekly at Chapel Off Chapel. Tonight we're at a reading of a screenplay actually by David Phoebe, directed by Peter Hanrahan. It was actually an excellent show and we'll be showing you some interviews with the writer later in the show and of course some clips of the piece itself. It was a reading and not an actual production. It's here as part of screenplay at Chapel Off Chapel. For the past 8 months now, every month, they assist a writer by having a reading of a script in order basically so that the writer can see it produced, see it in front of an audience and perhaps gain some kudos, get some ideas and perhaps change the production, who knows. But here we are, we're going to go and show you some vision now of Disconnected by David Phoebe.
You can't see them, but they are there. Gatekeepers. They control what everyone has access to. They decide what everyone's life would be better off without. I didn't see them until I saw what they wouldn't let in. For the first time I could experience without permission or fear.
Dale and Kaya enter the main area of Revolver nightclub. Electronica spills out over everything. People are slabbed on couches as others dance and groove around.
This looks great. What do you want to drink?
Oh, hang on. I got you one of these.
Are you sure?
taking your first pill is like losing your virginity. There's so much they don't tell you. Like how good it feels.
Mate, what's going on with you?
What's that mean to me?
You fucking changed, mate. Ever since you've been hanging around with her.
So what?
So what? People are talking, mate.
Bloody hell, that's a change.
Well, Jodie reckons she heard you talking with that Kyra about being a poof. Q Weekly viewers, we're here with David Phoebe, screenwriter of Disconnected down here at Chapel Off Chapel. We had a reading tonight and it was actually fabulous, I must say. Were you pleased to see it actually performed live for the first time?
Well, I've seen it in the rehearsals.
Well,
I've seen
in
it many
rehearsal,
times.
yeah.
But yeah, seeing it live and having
in front of an audience.
Having an audience was great. Just watching them react to different points and places we don't think they would, and it was unreal.
I was just going to say, did you think? I mean, there was quite a bit of laughter, although it's a very dramatic piece in itself. There is quite a bit of humour in it, and people laughed at different places. Did you expect them to laugh where they did?
Certain places, I think that really just the actors really brought that out. Some bits I just went, I was laughing myself. Because, they brought something out and it was funny.
I must admit, I laughed at probably the places where no one else did, but then that's my 70s memories coming back. Basically, it's a piece about a boy growing up in a country town, coming to terms with perhaps his sexuality and being isolated in a country town. Is that your own personal experience?
Yeah, there's obviously, heaps of autobiographical stuff. Semi-autobiographical. I use my artistic license a lot, so just change things around to get points across. Grew up in the country town, and there's a commonality of what the boys go through. I talk to other boys about, who came from this sort of similar areas, and they've had the whole similar experience, and that's what I'm trying to connect with.
Because, suicide is referenced in the piece itself, and of course suicide rates in country Victoria or country Australia, country anywhere basically, are much higher than they are, for example, in the city, particularly with men coming to terms with their sexuality. Was that a major feature of what you were thinking about when you made the piece?
Well, I try to put that in there without slamming it in your face. That came up because there's the boys who just don't get out because they're not alive to get out. And that's why we did the Jupiter character. So, he's a sort of an older version of Dalen who, if Dalen didn't get out, he would. That's a possibility.
And Dalen himself actually is at the point of suicide, I think, at one point where he's in the river, and he could easily have committed suicide, but instead he chooses to live, sort of thing, and to make the break.
And rebirth.
Yeah, exactly.
He's at that stage, well, which way am I going to go? And he chooses, we can get out of this.
Do you think, though, that I know it is an isolated country town which is in decline, and as they say in your piece, it's somewhere that people stop for a piss on the way to a better place. But do you think in some respects it could be like even an outer suburb of Melbourne, like a Dandenong or a Sunbury or Bacchus Marsh, where people are actually isolated?
It could be a suburban story. You could take the characters and put them in a suburban setting and have the same thing. I use the country to really get that real sense of isolation, or just being when he's out in the paddock's just walking around by himself. Very much
I think it really does come across that it is a country town, and as I said, although it is a very dramatic piece, I think one of the in the talkback after the show, one of the audience members called it a psychodrama thriller, and there is a lot of drama, obviously, but there is a lot of comedy too, and I think they really bounce off each other quite well. Was it an actual choice of yours to put that the comedy element in to break up the piece itself?
Yeah, well, the best comedy comes out of the tragedy. So, definitely, because otherwise, it could be a completely heavy piece down on one level. Get it up and down, get people laughing. When things get too heavy and tensions there, end it with something funny. Keep the emotions going up and down. Get them sucked in.
A short, surly-looking young guy walks directly up to Dale.
You chasing?
Sorry?
You chasing?
No! His name's not Jason. Now fuck off!
Well, I think that he was very alone. His father was very alone.
Yeah.
The characters generally, although they pretend to be a community, they're actually very isolated people. Do you think we are all isolated in that respect, or?
I think we can all go through periods of our life which we do feel isolated. I think everyone's probably experienced at one time or another, and that and that can be pretty intense. Where, particularly, and it can be a very trying period because when that happens, you got to figure out who you are.
Well, Dalen survives that by his connection with the internet and connecting to his girlfriend. Well, not girlfriend, but his best girlfriend, sort of in Melbourne, and through the character Jupiter, is it, who actually ends up committing suicide. So, in a country town, is that the only choice one has, or?
Well, I think these days the the boys, when they're coming out now, they're going to be on the internet. That's going to be their first point of call. Everyone's in the future is going to be coming out on the internet. That's going to be their research ground. That's where they're going to take because they can be anonymous.
And there's also a theme of I personally think there's a theme of time marches on. Dalen looks back at what he considers to be happier times, even just 1 year ago, getting pissed with his mates, and now perhaps his sexuality is intruding on his life, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so the emergence of self, and when that comes up, you're going to be forced to change at some point. You can't hold it back when something starts boiling through, and when they got the temperature up high. You got no choice. There's going to be bubbles.
And it is, in fact, his a sense of commitment or guilt with regards to his father and his mates. That actually keeps him in the town as long as it does.
Yeah, the loyalty thing, and it does also the fear of stepping outside your own zone and not knowing whether you have the strength to actually do it. Yeah, the loyalty thing's a big one, particularly in country towns. The boys, they're happy mates. You're not going to you don't want to leave them behind, but sometimes.
I think his best mate says to him, "I don't care if you do donkeys, but the others might," sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a cop out from his best mate, though.
Mate, I couldn't care less if you're into rooting donkeys, Just what everyone else is going to think.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What's this?
Matt points to the rainbow sticker on the car.
Greenpeace.
It's a very interesting piece, by the way. It was extremely fascinating to watch. It was acted extremely well. I think Peter did a brilliant job in directing, by the way. I think she's absolutely magnificent. But it's not your typical light and fluff. I mean, these days we see so much of it like reality TV, Queer Eye for a Straight Guy, and so much of our daily life is like that too.
Yeah.
What were you actually wanting to portray?
Well, there's stories out there that are happening to people, particularly growing up gay, that just aren't being looked at, and I'm sure that this is one of them. There's there's going to be more of them out there. Everything is so fabulous, with Queer Eye and all that, and we're just saturated in it now, and it's just completely.
And they call that reality TV.
Well,
it's unbelievable.
It is, but and there's boys in the suburbs who've experienced the same thing, and we're just not discussing it because it's not commercial road, so therefore the press isn't interested. So.
And I understand you wrote this in part because you also intend to turn it into a novel.
Yeah, we're doing that at the moment. We have got an editor looking to read it, so that's okay. About 2/3 of the way through my vomit draft. This is my first one. Just get it out, and then we'll go back and we'll re-edit it and pick out the bits.
Well, how long ago did you, in fact, put this piece together?
I did about 3 years ago, and sort of forgot about it for a couple of years, and it wasn't until I came across screenwriting by accident that got it back out again. which is a weird.
Brushed it off. And
Well, it's a weird thing. You know, you do that. This experience in your life of this whole process of coming out, or just that isolation type of thing, and you do it, and you move on, forget about it. And then all of a sudden, you know, a few years later, I'm back here doing the whole thing again, you know, going back over it again because I happened to write it down. I couldn't write it down now if I was thinking about it. You know, you couldn't just go, oh, let's do something.
Something you needed to do at the time.
Yeah, if I had to sit down and came up with the idea, let's do a country town thing about being gay, it'd be from where I am now, it'd be a completely different story. And it wouldn't be that one, and it'd probably be a bit more, you know, hear the point.
Well, then I suggest you don't tweak it too much,
Yeah,
because I
hear
think
the
it's an
point.
excellent piece,
Yeah.
and it should stay the way it is. It
Yeah.
really should.
I wanted to keep it the way.
I think it's really excellent. Thank you very much for the interview. Duncan.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What do you think of Q Weekly? Is there anything you'd like to see on the show? Please drop us a line with any feedback to q_weekly@yahoo.com.au.